Peppa's Christmas Unicorn. It was the beginning of December, and Peppa and her family were decorating their Christmas tree.
Wow!
Peppa pulled a decoration from the Christmas box.
It's the prickly cactus we got when Daddy went monster trucking in America,
she cried. And there's the flamingo from our summer holiday, said Daddy Pig. What lovely memories, said Mummy Pig, smiling. What a perfect tree, said Daddy Pig, hanging his last bauble. There's still one bare branch.
but there aren't any decorations left,
Peppa sighed. Never mind, said Mummy Pig. The tree looks wonderful just as it is.
Okay,
said Peppa, but she couldn't help staring at the empty branch. A few weeks later, it was Christmas Eve. Come on, called Daddy Pig. It's time to go to the Christmas fair.
Hooray!
Cried Peppa and George. The Christmas fair was lots of fun. There were stalls full of yummy food, games to play, gingerbread houses to decorate, and
A Christmas carousel!
cried Peppa. Who wants a ride? Asked Mummy Pig.
I do,
Cheered Peppa and George, jumping up and down. Daddy Pig, said Mummy Pig, would you like to ride the carousel? Daddy Pig looked at the Christmas carousel. What does it do? He asked Miss Rabbit, who was in charge of the ride.
It spins around and around up in the air,
she explained. Ah, said Daddy Pig. He was a little bit scared of heights.
Come on, it'll be so much fun,
said Peppa. Okay, said Daddy Pig. I'll give it a whirl. Peppa and George looked at all the animals they could ride on the carousel.
Wow!
Dinosaur!
Arr! Shouted George, picking a special Christmas dinosaur. Mummy Pig climbed on the dinosaur with him. Peppa spotted a golden, glittery
Christmas unicorn! She cried. I'm riding this one. Doesn't it look magical?
It certainly does, agreed Daddy Pig.
Last call for the magical Christmas carousel,
announced Miss Rabbit.
All aboard! Come on, Daddy, called Peppa. Let's hurry.
Daddy Pig got into Santa's sleigh. Ho, 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 he cheered. Once everyone was settled safely on the ride, Miss Rabbit pressed a button. The carousel started to spin around and around, getting faster and faster. Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig were lifted up higher and higher up into the air, until suddenly they were flying.
Wow!
Whee!
cried Peppa and her magical Christmas unicorn.
Dinosaur! Roo!
cried George on his special Christmas dinosaur. Daddy Pig's sleigh was close behind. His eyes were shut.
Open your eyes, Daddy,
said Peppa.
We're flying.
Daddy Pig opened one eye and looked down. Oh my goodness, we are flying! From up high, Peppa and George could see the houses below, decorated with Christmas lights, and the trees covered in snow.
Look, Daddy,
gasped Peppa, pointing.
It's our house.
Daddy Pig peered down, and his sleigh started to drop. Luckily, Peppa's unicorn helped the reindeer to pull the sleigh back up again. Phew, said Daddy Pig. Miss Rabbit pressed a button and everyone flew back down to the ground.
Wasn't that amazing?
cried Peppa.
We were flying, weren't we, Daddy?
It must be Christmas magic, replied Daddy Pig, a little dizzy from the ride.
Now, who wants to visit Santa?
asked Mummy Pig.
I do,
cheered Peppa and George, jumping up and down. Peppa told Santa all about her magical ride on the flying Christmas unicorn.
We even saw our house,
she cried.
Our Christmas tree was sparkling in the window. We collect decorations.
Your tree sounds wonderful, said Santa. I'd love to see. Ho, ho, ho!
You can, said Peppa. Tonight.
Oh, yes, said Santa. Of course. I should probably get going, said Santa, chuckling. Ho, ho, ho! I've got a rather busy night of present delivering ahead of me.
Wow!
Yes, said Peppa excitedly. Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas, Peppa, said Santa. It was lovely talking to you.
Time to head home, said Mummy Pig. It's a big day tomorrow.
Back at home, Peppa and George got into their cosy Christmas pyjamas, put out yummy treats for Santa and his reindeer, and hung up their stockings.
Please, can we have a magical Christmas bedtime story now?
asked Peppa. Daddy Pig told Peppa and George a magical Christmas bedtime story, and they soon fell fast asleep. On Christmas morning, Peppa and George raced downstairs to find that Santa had been. Peppa peeked into her stocking and pulled out a little sparkly box.
Wow!
Inside was a glittery golden Christmas unicorn tree decoration.
It's just like the one I rode on the carousel,
she gasped.
Another lovely memory for the tree, said Mummy Pig.
And now you have a decoration for that empty branch, said Daddy Pig. Santa is rather clever, isn't he?
I love you, Christmas unicorn,
whispered Peppa. Suddenly, the unicorn shone brightly and flew onto the tree branch.
Wow!
gasped Peppa.
Did you see that?
What? asked Mummy Pig. Everyone came to look. But the unicorn was as still as all the other decorations on the tree.
She was flying, said Peppa, but now she's stopped.
Must be Christmas magic, said Daddy Pig, winking.
Thank you, Santa, Peppa said. This is the most magical Christmas ever.
Peppa loves Christmas unicorns. Everyone loves Christmas unicorns. The end. Peppa Pig, Creepy Cobwebs. Look at all the cobwebs. Mummy Pig says that cobwebs mean spiders, and spiders are creepy. Peppa likes creepy things. When it gets dark, she makes scary faces with her torch. What else is scary? A wiggly worm? Fizzing fireworks? Or a rocket ride to the moon? At the museum, George meets a very scary dinosaur. Luckily, it is only a robot. Even Daddy Pig gets the creeps sometimes. Don't worry, it's only Mr. Skinny Legs. And if things ever get too scary, Mommy Pig is there to give everybody a big piggy cuddle. The end. First words with Peppa Pig. Dens. Peppa's many friends came to play in her treehouse. The treehouse is yellow and its door is green.
Grandpa Pig made the treehouse for us. It is the best,
said Peppa. Peppa made tea for her 5 friends in the treehouse.
Don't forget me,
said Zoe Zebra.
Don't be sad. I have made you some tea in the green cup,
said Peppa. Danny Dog and Pedro Pony came to call at the treehouse.
Is there room for us in your treehouse?
said Danny Dog.
I don't think you will fit. There are 5 friends in here. There are too many friends in here,
said Peppa. Grandpa Pig made a den for Danny and Pedro.
I like its flag. It is the best,
said Pedro Pony.
If you pull this bit, its red door goes up and down,
said Grandpa Pig.
It has so many good bits. It is the best,
said Danny Dog.
Thank you.
Peppa and her friends came to call at the den. Its red door was pulled down.
Wow. Is there room for us in the den?
said Peppa.
I don't think you will fit. There are too many friends in here,
said Danny. Grandpa Pig got some string.
If you pull the string from the treehouse to the den, you can call your friends,
said Grandpa Pig. The friends pulled the string.
The treehouse Grandpa Pig made for us is the best. Its door is green,
called Susie Sheep.
The den that Grandpa Pig made for us is the best. Its door goes up and down if you pull it,
called Danny Dog. Peppa's 5 friends went to the den.
The den is the best as the door goes up and down,
they said.
I don't think so. I still think the treehouse is the best. Its door is green,
said Peppa. Then the rain came. The den did not have a roof. Many of the friends went back to the treehouse.
The treehouse is the best as its roof will keep the rain off,
they said.
I don't think so. I still think the den is the best,
said Danny Dog. Then the sun came back. The rain had made 5 spots of mud on the green grass.
Now we don't want to go in the den or the treehouse,
said Susie Sheep.
The mud is best for us.
The end. Peppa Pig. Read it yourself, little creatures. George, Peppa Pig, B, Grandpa Pig, Granny Pig, Honey, Shell, Snail.
Wow.
This is Peppa Pig. This is George. George is her little brother. This is Grandpa Pig. And this is Granny Pig. Peppa, George and Grandpa are in the garden.
Hooray!
Grandpa gives Peppa a lettuce.
Wow!
What is that?
Says Peppa.
It's a little snail,
Says Grandpa. George likes a snail.
Where is the snail now, Grandpa?
Says Peppa.
It is in its shell,
Says Grandpa.
Wow!
The shell is the snail's little house.
George wants to be a snail in a little house.
I want to be a snail in a little house too,
Says Peppa.
Grandpa, we will eat your lettuce.
Now Peppa and George's friends are in the garden too. Buzz, buzz, buzz.
What is that?
They say.
Some bees,
Says Grandpa.
Where are they going?
Says Peppa.
They will be going to make some honey.
Says Grandpa.
Wow!
I like honey.
Says Peppa. The friends want to be bees. Buzz, 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 they say. Granny Pig is in the garden. Granny gives Peppa and her friends some honey to eat.
I like bees,
Says Peppa.
We like bees too,
Say Peppa's friends.
We like to eat the honey they make.
The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa plays rugby. Peppa, George and Daddy Pig are visiting the rabbit family. Daddy Pig and Daddy Rabbit are watching a rugby match on television. Come on, white team, shouts Daddy Pig. Come on, red team, cries Daddy Rabbit.
It's a bit loud in here.
Rebecca Rabbit tells Peppa.
Let's go and play somewhere else.
Peppa, George, Rebecca and Richard Rabbit leave the living room.
Our daddies are being very noisy today,
Says Peppa. Suddenly the children hear more loud sounds.
Oh no, gasped Rebecca. Now the babies are awake. The noise from the rugby match woke them up,
Says Mummy Rabbit, holding Rosie and Robbie Rabbit.
Oh no!
Do you like watching rugby too?
Asked Peppa. I like playing rugby, says Mummy Rabbit. My sister and I are quite good.
Wow!
Can you show us how to play, please?
Asked Peppa.
What a great idea,
Says Mummy Rabbit. Mummy Rabbit phones her sister, Miss Rabbit. She comes straight over. Hello, says Miss Rabbit.
You all look like you're ready to play rugby. Yes,
Shout Peppa, George, Rebecca and Richard.
let's start by passing the ball.
Says Mummy Rabbit. Mummy Rabbit passes the ball to Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit passes it to Richard. Oh! Cries Richard as the ball falls to the ground and bounces back up into the air.
This ball is a funny shape," says Peppa. "It makes it hard to catch." "Don't worry," says Miss Rabbit. "You can kick it instead."
Wow.
George gives the ball a kick. Then Rebecca grabs it and starts running.
"Keep going," says Mummy Rabbit. "You can get a try." "Try's like a goal," explains Miss Rabbit.
Wow.
The daddies come out of the burrow. "The match on television has finished," says Daddy Pig. "Now we can cheer you on." Everybody has lots of fun throwing and kicking the ball. After a little while, it starts to rain.
"Oh no,"
cries Peppa.
"Do we have to go inside?"
"No," says Mummy Rabbit, smiling.
"Rugby is even more fun when it's wet outside."
Mummy Rabbit passes the ball to Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit catches it and slides through a muddy puddle. Sploosh!
"Come on," she calls. "Everyone join in."
The children have lots of fun in all the rain and mud. "What a great match," cheers Daddy Pig. "Hooray for the rugby players." Peppa loves rugby. Everyone loves rugby. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's best sleepover. Peppa and Mandy Mouse are having a sleepover at Peppa's house.
"We're going to put on a show with our teddies, build a magical den, and have a giant feast,"
says Peppa.
"Yes,"
cheers Mandy.
"It's going to be the best sleepover ever,"
Finishes Peppa.
"Can we have some craft things to make a stage, please?"
asks Peppa. "Of course," says Mummy Pig. She brings Peppa and Mandy everything they need, then helps them to make a stage. Peppa and Mandy put on a show with their teddies. "Bravo!" cheers Daddy Pig. After the show, Peppa and Mandy start building their magical den.
"Mummy, Daddy, can you help us, please?"
says Peppa. "What's the matter, Peppa?" asks Daddy Pig.
"I can't get my sleeping bag out,"
says Peppa.
"And the fairy lights are all tangled up,"
Mandy adds. With a little help from Daddy Pig, Peppa and Mandy finish their den. They have lots of fun being princesses in the den until...
"My tummy is rumbling,"
says Peppa.
"Mine too,"
says Mandy.
"Time for our feast,"
says Peppa.
"Yippee!"
cheers Mandy. Peppa and Mandy head to the kitchen. Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig and George are already busy baking. "Would you like to join us, Princess Mandy and Princess Peppa?" says Daddy Pig. "We're making a giant feast."
"Oh yes, please,"
cheer Peppa and Mandy. Peppa and Mandy go back to the den and tuck into their feast.
"Yummy,"
says Peppa.
"Delicious,"
says Mandy. After the feast, Mummy Pig helps Peppa, Mandy and George brush their teeth. Daddy Pig reads Peppa, Mandy and George a special sleepover bedtime story. "I wonder what you will dream about tonight," he says, closing the book. Peppa says,
"I think we're going to dream about the best sleepover ever,"
finishes Mandy. Everyone laughs. Mummy and Daddy Pig tuck Peppa into her sleeping bag.
Thank you, she whispers. You're welcome, Peppa, say Mummy and Daddy Pig together. But Peppa and Mandy have already fallen asleep. Peppa loves sleepovers. Everyone loves sleepovers. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Clubhouse Adventure. Peppa and her friends are in their clubhouse. What game shall we play today? Asked Mandy Mouse. Let's be adventurers, says Susie Sheep. Yes, says Peppa, and outside is a forest full of wild animals. The adventurers wait inside the clubhouse for an animal to appear. Daddy! Peppa whispers through the window. You have to be a wild animal. Ho ho, I think I can manage that, says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig pretends to be a wild animal stomping through the forest. Peppa laughs. We need more wild animals. Mandy asks her mummy to join the game. I can be a wild animal too, says Mummy Mouse. Squeak, squeak. Mandy frowns. A squeaking mouse is not even a little bit exciting. Mummy Mouse tries again. She makes a little growling sound. And then... Penny Polar Bear's mummies have decided to join in. Polar bears are good at growling, says Penny proudly. The adventurers peep out at the wild animals. Wow. We should make the game even more exciting, says Peppa. Let's pretend there's a jungle outside, says Susie, with jungle animals. Just then, Mr. Lion the zookeeper arrives. Mr. Lion tells everyone that he is looking for some animals that escaped from the zoo. I heard noises coming from this way, he says. Says Daddy Pig. That was just us. Should we be worried about the escaped animals? Asked Mummy Mouse. No, says Mr. Lion. They are... Penguins! Shout Peppa and her friends. The escaped penguins are waddling around the playground. There you are, the Lion. You cheeky things. Hello, penguins, says Peppa. Would you like to see our clubhouse? One by one, the penguins follow Peppa inside. Look, says Penny. They like the swing and the slide, cheers Mandy. The penguins love the clubhouse. Everyone loves the clubhouse. Peppa Pig, Tooth Fairy. Peppa and George are eating their favourite food, spaghetti. Suddenly, something falls onto Peppa's plate. What's that? Peppa cries. It's your tooth, Daddy Pig laughs. If you put your tooth under the pillow tonight, the Tooth Fairy will pay you a visit. She will take the tooth and leave you a shiny coin, says Mummy Pig.
Good night, Peppa. Good night, George, says Mummy Pig. Good night, my little piggies, grunts Daddy Pig. Peppa puts her tooth under the pillow for the Tooth Fairy.
Let's stay awake all night and see the Tooth Fairy,
says Peppa. Giggles George.
George, where's the Tooth Fairy?
Peppa asks.
She's very late.
But George is so tired he has fallen fast asleep.
I'm not going to sleep.
Snores Peppa. When everything is quiet, something appears at the window. The Tooth Fairy has arrived, but Peppa is fast asleep. The Tooth Fairy pushes a shiny coin under the pillow and takes Peppa's tiny tooth. Peppa, George, wake up, it's morning, says Mummy Pig brightly. Did the Tooth Fairy come? Daddy Pig asks.
No,
says Peppa sadly. Let's look under your pillow, says Daddy Pig. Look, Peppa, the Tooth Fairy has been, and she's left you a shiny coin.
Hooray!
Peppa laughs.
Next time I will stay awake and I will see the Tooth Fairy.
The end. Peppa's Space Trip and Teddy's Day Out. Peppa and her friends are going to make a time capsule. We'll put special things in this box and we'll bury it in the school garden, says Madame Gazelle. The time capsule will stay in the ground for a long time. In the future, people will dig it up and they will know how we lived, said Madame Gazelle. I think we all live on the moon in the future, says Peppa. After they bury the time capsule, Daddy Pig digs up the one all the grown-ups made with Madame Gazelle a long time ago. Madame Gazelle takes everything out of the old time capsule. A comic, some music and a toy, she says. Just like the things we put in ours, says Peppa. Making time capsules is such fun, and finding them is even better. Teddy's Day Out. Today, Peppa and her family are having a picnic. Zoe Zebra and her daddy, Mr. Zebra the postman, are coming too. Look, Zoe, I've brought Teddy with me, says Peppa. And I've brought my monkey, says Zoe. George says, dinosaur. Zoe Zebra has got a toy picnic set. We've got a pretend cake, she says. The ducks don't want pretend cake. Oh well, that means there's more for me and Monkey, Mr. Dinosaur and Teddy, says Peppa. It's home time for Peppa and her family. Zoe Zebra packs away her toy picnic set. Oh no, she says. Peppa has forgotten her Teddy. Poor Peppa is very upset. Mr. Zebra the postman takes Zoe to Peppa's house. Special delivery for Miss Peppa Pig, says Zoe. Hooray, it's Teddy, says Peppa. The end. Peppa's Australian Underwater Adventure. Peppa was very excited. She had just won a Great Barrier Reef art competition at the aquarium. Congrats, Peppa, said Miss Rabbit. "Your prize is to join me on a marine biology trip to Australia."
Wow!
"Hooray!" cheered Peppa. "What's marine biology?" "It's learning about the plants and animals that live in the sea," explained Miss Rabbit. "Ooh," said Peppa. "We're going to stay with Mrs. Kangaroo," continued Miss Rabbit. "She will teach us how to scuba dive in the Great Barrier Reef." "What an amazing prize for a competition," said Mummy Pig, a bit surprised. "Well, Peppa's drawing was very imaginative," said Miss Rabbit. "Her picture wasn't exactly like any fish I have ever seen, but it was a prize-winning picture." "I see," said Mummy Pig. "There's nothing wrong with a bit of imagination, is there?" "Of course, you, Daddy Pig and George will be coming to Australia too," Miss Rabbit told Mummy Pig. "How lovely," replied Mummy Pig. "Thank you, Mrs. Rabbit." Peppa and her family are very excited to be seeing their friends in Australia again.
Hooray!
"We'll be leaving first thing tomorrow," said Miss Rabbit. "Right then," said Mummy Pig. "We'd better head to the shops and get everything we need for the trip." Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig headed to Mr. Fox's shop and told him what they needed. Mr. Fox got everything out. "Now," he said, "I think you'll also need some paper and colouring pens. You never know when they might come in handy." "I'm not sure we do," began Mummy Pig. "Trust me, Mummy Pig," Mr. Fox interrupted. "You'll definitely need these." "Oh, okay then," said Mummy Pig. "Thank you for your help, Mr. Fox. We must get going now so we can pack all of this." The next morning, Peppa and her family woke up very early and hopped on the aeroplane to Australia. "Where's Miss Rabbit?" asked Daddy Pig. "I think she's finding her own way there," replied Mummy Pig. While Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig flew on an aeroplane, Miss Rabbit travelled to Australia by hot air balloon, helicopter and boat. Ahoy there! Amazingly, Miss Rabbit arrived in Australia at the exact same time as Peppa and her family. "Welcome to Australia, everyone," said Miss Kangaroo. "It's so good to see you," said Kylie Kangaroo, giving Peppa a big hug. After they were settled in, Mrs. Kangaroo went through the diving plan with Kylie, Peppa and Miss Rabbit. "There are so many amazing creatures to discover in the Great Barrier Reef," she explained. "It's an incredible place." Mrs. Kangaroo taught Peppa about diving and marine biology.
Wow!
"What does buddy up mean?" asked Peppa. "It means we are going to dive in a group," explained Miss Kangaroo. She held up a list of creatures they were going to see and count on their underwater adventure. Green sea turtles, orange clownfish, blue starfish, pink sea anemones, and even whales. "Wow!" gasped Peppa. She was so excited. Mrs. Kangaroo drove everyone to the boat. Then they hopped on board with their diving gear and headed out to the diving site. When the boat stopped, Mrs. Kangaroo gave Peppa and Kylie a special underwater list each. It's important that we count the marine life carefully, she said. If you spot anything unusual, let me know. Then Peppa, Miss Rabbit, Kylie and Mrs. Kangaroo jumped backwards off the boat. They dived deep down under the water to the reef. The divers saw lots of amazing plants and animals on the reef. They spotted 5 orange clownfish, 4 pink sea anemones, 3 brilliant blue starfish, 2 big green turtles, and 1 enormous whale.
Wow,
said Peppa.
it's so colourful down here.
Peppa and Miss Rabbit followed the whale further into the reef. Peppa used her diving fins to swim as fast as she could to keep up, and Miss Rabbit paddled along behind her. The whale pointed its fin at a big rock. Peppa peered behind the rock and saw a fish that wasn't on Mrs. Kangaroo's list, poking its head out.
That looks just like the fish I coloured in,
said Peppa. At the end of the dive, everyone climbed back on board the boat.
We counted so many creatures,
said Peppa excitedly.
It was amazing. I also spotted a beautiful fish that wasn't on your list, Miss Kangaroo. What did it look like, Peppa?
asked Kylie.
It looked a bit like a clownfish, said Peppa, but not exactly.
Said Mrs. Kangaroo. Can you describe it a bit more, Peppa? Peppa used the colouring pens from Mr. Fox's shop to draw the fish she had seen. It looked just like her picture from the aquarium.
Wow, that's a lovely fish, Peppa,
said Kylie. Peppa is very good at drawing, said Miss Rabbit. I don't believe it, gasped Mrs. Kangaroo when she saw Peppa's drawing. It looks just like a rare blue clownfish.
Wow.
That hasn't been seen for a while now. Where did you spot it, Peppa? Peppa took everyone back to where she had seen the unusual fish. Mrs. Kangaroo had been searching for the blue clownfish for a long time. Peppa spotted the whale winking at her in the distance.
Thank you for showing us the fish, lovely whale,
Peppa said, winking back. After Mrs. Kangaroo had taken lots of photographs of the fish, she signalled for everyone to swim up to the boat and head back to the shore. That afternoon, Mrs. Kangaroo and her family cooked a big meal to celebrate Peppa's amazing discovery. What do you think of the Great Barrier Reef, Peppa? Asked Daddy Pig.
It's the most brilliant place ever, replied Peppa. The fish are just like I imagined they would be.
She held up her picture from the art competition. It looked exactly like the fish she had seen on her dive. Everyone laughed. Peppa loves the beautiful Great Barrier Reef. Everyone loves the beautiful Great Barrier Reef. The end. Peppa Pig, safety first. Today is a very fun day at Peppa's school. The police are visiting.
Wow!
They will teach us about safety, says Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
The students go outside to wait for the police to arrive. The children make noises like a police siren.
Nina, Nina,
says Freddy Fox. They hear a real siren. A police car arrives. I am Police Officer Squirrel, says one police officer.
And I am Police Officer Panda,
says the other. The officers are here to teach the children about bike safety. Peppa and her friends ride all over the schoolyard.
Well done,
says Officer Panda. Next, the children practice ringing their bells and honking their horns. Peppa is good at ringing her bell, but Pedro Pony is the loudest of all. It is time to practice braking. Officer Panda goes to the bottom of the hill. Peppa and her friends race down the hill. At the bottom, they use their brakes to stop.
Very good, everyone,
says Officer Panda. Madame Gazelle rides down the hill next. Whee! She cheers. She rings her bell and uses her brakes.
Well done,
says Officer Panda. Peppa and her friends clap. The children learn it is a police officer's job to help others and keep them safe. Peppa Pig thinks being a police officer sounds very important. Freddy Fox does too.
I want to be a police officer,
says Freddy Fox.
I like blowing whistles.
There is more to being a police officer than blowing whistles,
says Officer Panda.
We must always keep our eyes and ears open,
says Officer Panda. Then he walks into a tree.
Oh,
he says.
Who put that tree there? I will make a note,
says Officer Squirrel.
Dangerous trees,
she says as she writes. A police officer's work is never done. It is time to say goodbye. Peppa and her friends thank the officers for visiting.
Bye-bye,
everyone says. Officer Squirrel and Officer Panda drive their police car back to the station. This time, they leave the siren off. They are not in a hurry. Peppa learned a lot today. Maybe when she grows up, she will help keep others safe too. The end. Peppa Pig and the Family Reunion. Peppa and George are very excited. Today the pig family is having a reunion.
Wow!
Everyone in the family will be there.
You've brought pie,
says Peppa.
I love pie.
Says George. Uncle Pig and Auntie Pig unpack the car. They have brought a lot of stuff for the baby. Daddy Pig helps Uncle Pig unload a high chair, some baby toys, a stroller, and even a bathtub. Peppa likes baby Alexander.
Would you like to help feed the baby?
asks Auntie Pig.
Oh, yes,
says Peppa. She tries to feed baby Alexander. He turns away. Peppa tries again. The baby won't open his mouth.
Oh no!
Try playing an airplane,
says Auntie Pig. She shows Peppa how to fly the spoon into baby Alexander's mouth. It works.
Can you say airplane?
asks Peppa. Baby Alexander can't talk yet. Peppa wants to teach baby Alexander to talk.
Can you say dinosaur?
says baby Alexander. Later that night, it's time to put baby Alexander to bed. But he doesn't sleep for long.
What's that noise?
asked Peppa. Baby Alexander is awake.
No, what's that other noise? That's the vacuum cleaner,
says Chloe. Why are you vacuuming at night? asked Daddy Pig. And why is Auntie Pig playing a trumpet? Loud noises are the best way to get baby Alexander to sleep, shouts Uncle Pig. We are a very noisy family. It is a very noisy night. After breakfast the next morning, everyone goes for a walk. Peppa tries to teach baby Alexander a new word.
Look, a bird,
says Peppa.
Caw, caw.
Says baby Alexander.
Sky,
says Peppa.
Caw, caw.
Says baby Alexander. Then it's time for the family reunion lunch. They are having Peppa's favourite, spaghetti. Daddy Pig and Uncle Pig love spaghetti too. Both of them ask for more. For dessert, everyone has a piece of Granny Pig's pie.
Hooray! Yum,
Peppa says to baby Alexander.
Caw, caw.
Says baby Alexander. Chloe has brought her puppet theatre, and she and Peppa and George put on a puppet show.
Wow!
They make a Chloe puppet, a Peppa puppet, and a dinosaur puppet for George. Everyone claps after the puppet show. Well, almost everyone. Daddy Pig and Uncle Pig have fallen asleep. Peppa and Chloe go outside to play before the reunion is over. Baby Alexander likes to watch them play in the mud.
Look, baby Alexander,
says Peppa.
We're jumping up and down in muddy puddles.
And then it happens. Baby Alexander says his first word.
Puddles.
Well done, baby Alexander. Well done, Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig, My Daddy and Me.
This is my daddy and me. We do everything together. I love doing things with my daddy because he can do anything.
Wow!
What are we going to do next, Daddy? Here are some of our favourite things to do. We love being cheeky monkeys at the playground, swinging on the climbing frame, and zooming down the slide at super speeds. My daddy is king of the playground. We love gliding across the ice in our skates and wearing fabulous costumes. You're so graceful, Daddy. My daddy is king of the ice. We love painting pictures of nature, especially when nature joins in.
Bonk, bonk.
My daddy is king of painting pictures. We love playing sports, especially muddy ones. My daddy is king of sports. We love planning adventures and going on them too. Are you sure this is the right way to play group, Daddy? My daddy is king of adventures. We love travelling together and always go everywhere as fast as we possibly can. Come on, Daddy, we're going to be late for the ball. My daddy is king of the road. But most of all, we love having picnics together. We eat them on the beach, in the countryside, or even high up in the clouds. My daddy and me love doing everything together. My daddy is king of my whole world.
The end. Peppa Pig and the Vegetable Garden. Peppa Pig and her little brother George are playing at Grandpa Pig and Granny Pig's house. They love to help Grandpa Pig in the garden.
What are you doing, Grandpa Pig?
asked Peppa.
I'm planting seeds. What happens to the seeds?
They grow into plants. I make a small hole in the ground, put the seed inside and cover it with earth. Then I water it. Everything in my garden grows from seeds like this.
Wow!
Ouch! says Grandpa Pig. An apple fell on his head. Peppa and George laugh. Grandpa laughs too. Look, he says, inside the apple are more seeds.
To grow more apple trees,
says Peppa.
I want to plant a seed,
Peppa says. She makes a little hole and puts a seed in it. Then she covers the seed with earth. Grandpa lets her water it. Now we wait for it to grow, he says. Peppa waits. George waits. They wait and wait and wait.
It's not doing anything,
says Peppa. Grandpa Pig laughs. You have to be patient.
Ah! What's this?
says Peppa.
It's a monster!
Monster!
says George. Grandpa Pig laughs. It's just a little snail. Arr, says George.
Monster!
He likes a snail.
Let's play snails,
says Peppa. Grandpa Pig finds some baskets for Peppa and George, and they play snails in the garden.
Look, says Peppa, a butterfly. Why do butterflies love flowers?
They drink from flowers, says Grandpa Pig.
Wow!
They drink the flower's nectar. It's their food.
Look at me, I'm playing butterfly,
Peppa shouts. George wants to be a butterfly too.
No, George, I am a butterfly. You can play worm.
George doesn't want to play worm.
Come on, George, says Grandpa Pig. Playing worm is fun.
Grandpa Pig shows George how to lie on the ground and wiggle. Soon Peppa wants to play worm too. Grandpa plants some more seeds. He drops them on the ground. But when he turns around, a little bird is eating them.
Shoo, shoo,
says Grandpa. Granny Pig comes to see.
We need a scarecrow,
she says. Grandpa Pig brings Peppa and George to his garden shed.
We'll find lots of things in here to make a scarecrow with, he says. He finds sticks, string, some straw, and an old sack. They build the scarecrow, then dress it in some old clothes. Peppa and George paint a face. The birds see the scarecrow. They stop eating Grandpa's seeds.
The birds look sad, says Peppa. They must be hungry.
Granny Pig brings out a bird feeder.
Lunchtime, birds,
she calls. Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig have come. Granny Pig needs blackberries to make a pie for lunch. Everybody wants to help.
This blackberry bush has been here since I was a little girl, says Mummy Pig.
Mummy Pig climbs a ladder to get to the berries at the top. Oh no! Mummy Pig falls into the bush. Where is she? Mummy Pig is okay, but she looks like a berry bush. Peppa and George pick berries from the mummy bush. Grandpa Pig, Peppa and George finish picking vegetables for lunch.
Hooray!
They make a salad. Granny Pig cuts up a cucumber.
I love cucumbers, says Peppa.
Yuck, says George. He doesn't like salad. Grandpa has an idea. He gives George a new plate.
Dinosaur,
says George. He eats the salad. He likes it. He loves Granny Pig's blackberry pie too. Yum! The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.